little bit of a journey away from where we are right now. So just do me a favor and close your eyes. I promise we'll open them right back up in about 30 seconds. Just imagine for a moment that we're transported. We're not even here anymore. Thank you for coming with me, but we're no longer here at Charles Krug. We're in a beautiful Art Deco theater. And beautiful gilded designs all around. You see a stage in front of you, red velvet curtain with gold trim, and you're sitting in the seats in the audience, and you can feel the velvet of the chairs and hear the squeak as you're kind of lean back a little bit in your theater chair. It's an old theater. And when you open your eyes in just a few seconds, just imagine we're still there. It's actually sort of superimposed on top of where we actually are here again. So go and open your eyes again. That's where we are. And on stage before you stands a man. And on his right, we have a bulletproof glass safe with a scuba tank inside of it. And a giant Pee Wee Herman-sized lock on the safe. And it's really interesting. I'm going to lift it up and show it to you. It doesn't have any kind of keyhole on it. And it doesn't have, it's heavy, it doesn't have any combinations anywhere. That's because it's a magic lock. And it only responds to behaviors. And there's a set of behaviors that you'll need if you want to unlock the scuba tank. Now, you may not even want the scuba tank, but it's there for us, it's a resource. We have another option for you. It doesn't require anything. It's on a stool right here to my left. It's a snorkel. It's a snorkel mask with a snorkel. It's right here. Totally use that. And now I'm going to give my cue to the stagehand, and the giant red curtain races behind me and reveals a 50,000-gallon water tank. And I just ordered this on Amazon. I asked a special delivery just for you guys, but also I added one more added benefit in that it's full of water from the Pacific Garbage Patch, which means it's nice and blue all the way down, except the very top layer, about the first 2 feet, is plastic bags and straws and styrofoam and cups and all kinds of stuff up on top. Now along the bottom, I've strewn in gold doubloons $1.5 million in gold coins along the bottom of this giant tank. Can everybody see it? So I'm going to ask you, I'm going to give you a chance. We're all going to have a chance to go swimming. In fact, every night in our dreams, or when we sleep, we have a chance to swim in this tank. And at night, we have the opportunity to dive into this tank and swim in and get the gold off the bottom of this tank. It's about 15 feet deep, though. It's 50,000 gallons. It's huge. How, with a snorkel, are you going to be able to get down enough, deep enough, to get the gold off the ground and fight through the garbage that's at the top? You can use that technology, but there's this fantastic technology, self-contained underwater breathing apparatus, you can use. Now, pick your equipment. The trick is, if you want to use the scuba equipment, just like real scuba equipment, there's a set of protocols that you would need to learn how to use this, how to use the regulator, how to make sure that you don't decompress at the wrong rate. A lot of things you have to get down a checklist. Anytime you go for a scuba dive, you check out the water you're swimming in. You want to make sure that you're going to be safe, have a buddy. A lot of protocols with this thing. Snorkel, no protocols, right? Grab it, strap it on, jump in the garbage patch. Good luck getting all the gold out of the bottom. So I'm going to teach you the key behaviors that you can use. 5 really key behaviors that you can use, simple behaviors, that will unlock the big magic lock here and open up the bulletproof glass safe and allow you to grab the scuba tank, climb up the ladder over on this side, dive in, and you can spend all night long swimming around underneath the garbage, scooping up the $1.5 million in gold, and hop out of the tank whenever you want. Because when we get good sleep at night, good sleep is a result of good sleep hygiene, good sleep protocols. Adrian actually opened my mind about this weekend in a really neat statement. She said, it's like when you were a baby, when you were a kid, little kids, they got to have bath time, and then they got to have the story, and they got to get tucked in at night, and they got to have the whoopee, and they got to go through the protocols, and every night's the same. Every night we wind down, the kid winds down, he's going crazy, and he gets it. He finds, you know what, every night we go down to sleep the same way. Guess what? We're all just big kids. We need protocols too. Now, there's the right protocols and the wrong protocols. And just like scuba gear protocols, you wouldn't just dive in to the deep water not following the right protocols. Why would you try to dive into the depths of the subconscious for the deep, relaxing rest that you get during a good night's sleep without following the protocols that allow you to get down in there? I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with the brain waves that we go through. Your brains, during different sleep states, you go through different wavelengths of brain waves. So there is the beta waves, which are at sort of the top range. It's sort of when you're just drifting off. You know, I'm in bed, I'm sort of just drifting off and kind of relaxing. I'm starting to kind of drift. I'm ready to kind of fall off the edge and fall asleep. That gets me into my theta waves. In the theta waves, I'm down here, I'm dreaming. You know, it's kind of the main REM is happening down in theta, and then boom. In a good night's sleep, you drop down into the deep, big wavelengths of the delta. Oh, this is where the good stuff happens, right? So, but if you don't follow the right protocols, you can't really get down into the deep deltas. And now you don't just drop into the deltas and stay down there, you actually drop into the betas, and then the thetas, and then you come to delta, and you come back up to the theta, then back up to the beta. Sometimes you're almost awake at 2 in the morning, but then you just drop again. So actually, at night, your brain, a good night of sleep cycles, is going up and down, and coming up a little bit and going back deep down. Now something really amazing happens when you drop down into the deep, deep deltas. And we didn't even know about it in 2012, till 2012. They discovered something called the glymphatic system, which is, at night, your brain cells in deep dreamless sleep, in the deep deltas, and if you've ever tried to wake up from a dream and can't because your body is paralyzed, your body shuts down the neurology between your cerebral spinal cortex and your nerves and your motor muscles, you're paralyzed at night for a reason, because the brain's doing some really intense work at night. And what it's doing, particularly down in the deep deltas, the brain cells shrink 40%. And cerebral spinal fluid comes up the glymph system. If you're familiar with lymph, in the lymph nodes of the chest, the glymph system comes up in the back sinus vessels of the brain here and pass through the brain barrier. There's a barrier that, you know, there's a blood-brain barrier here. It passes through the blood-brain barrier by way of these secret vessels we never even could see until we had the right MRI equipment in 2012 to realize at a deep dreamless sleep, this cerebral spinal fluid comes in to your brain, in between the spaces where all of the brain cells have shrank, and washes your brain. It takes away the neurological toxins that are built up by the heavy use of your brain. The cellular activity of your brain creates waste materials, and it is a neurotoxin that needs to be cleaned out every night so that when it pulls back out of your brain and takes all that crap out and brings it down into your lymph system, and you breathe it out as carbon dioxide exhale, that you can get that whole experience. You can wake up with a clean mind, fully functioning, fully rested. But you can't get there if you're not following good sleep protocols, because the brain's got to know that it's safe to shut it down that far. And it doesn't need to process anything. It doesn't need to stay alert or be concerned that there's something wrong. You're safe. The lion's not at the door. It's cool. We're going to allow that to happen. We're going to be able to come down here and scoop $1.5 million worth of value off the bottom. And why is that $1.5 million worth of value? Because could you, with a clean brain on a daily basis, have a competitive advantage against others, against your competitors? Yes. Could you generate could you, by the healthy functioning of your brain at night, the healing powers of good sleep? We know that it relaxes cortisol levels in the body, which is a huge stressor. If you don't get enough sleep, cortisol levels are spiked. We know that cortisol levels lead to inflammation and Alzheimer's and a whole host of problems. So major health issues can come from having bad sleep. Adrenals, if you're not getting good sleep, adrenals, which are just above your kidneys, they're right on top of your kidneys, those babies are squeezed to the max, and if you don't get a chance to give them a break, they're pumping adrenaline into you all the time, you're fully adrenalized and you can't relax, you can't go through this. So many health benefits, I think more than maybe even 1.5 million, between your business and your health. What's the value of your health? Can you give me a dollar number on that? So, in closing here, I just want to walk through the quick protocols that you would want to use if you were using the scuba tank. So it's almost, there's a to-do list and a not to-do list. And the first to-do is to accept that sleep hygiene and sleep protocol is a priority for you. And that a unconscious or subconscious approach to sleep is not the way to go. That just let it fly, I'll just crash out and just fall into exhaustion into my bed as I scroll my phone to the last email, the last social media post, just before I expire with this phone next to my head, beaming radiation in my brain. Probably not the best protocol. Solid protocols for winding down at night, a 2-hour window before you go to bed. Lower the light in your house. We're reactive to light. As biological creatures, we respond to light. So low light at night tells our body it's time to start winding down. A warm bath, a nice hot bath, simple stuff. Have a spa night every night. I have a spa night. I'm a 49-year-old grown man. I have a spa night in a bathtub, and my kids know it.
Hell yeah, you do.
I'm an Epsom salt master, and it's the best part of my day. I'm winding down, and I read a fiction book. Right? Read a book of fiction, something interesting but not informational, not with a purpose, something that's joyous, a fiction book that brings you some joy. And here's one from ancient Egypt and the pharaohs and the gypsies of old. Is chamomile tea, which is a known muscle relaxer and a known de-stressor, and honey, a teaspoon of honey. Why honey? Why a shot of glucose before I fall asleep? Because that little shot of glucose is an excellent little nitro energy boost into the glymphatic system. Glymphatic system takes a lot of energy to come in and give you that brain wash. If you give a little shot of glucose at night, it gives you a little sugar spike, which is great, and you crash off of that, and it helps you drop down to deep sleep, but then that glucose is in your system, helps drive that lymphatic system. Come in and give yourself a great brain wash at night, and then you wake up, it all goes away, and you wake up refreshed. If you've ever been hiking, you've ever been out for a day camping, and you've got all the oxygen, all the stress, and all the worry is out of you. You go to bed that night, you sleep in a tent, and you have a great night's sleep, and you wake up the next morning, and the world is crystalline and shimmering. That's because you had a great night's sleep, and you had a great brain wash. That's how you can wake up every morning. The world can be a shimmering, crystalline experience of clarity because you've got a healthy brain function going after a good night's rest, following good sleep protocols, and not just going with what the stress culture's got us locked into of stress and phones and emails and blue light and all these things that we know are bad for us, but we just can't help it. I beg you, get control of your sleep protocols. Go in and get this 1.5 million or more in golden balloons at the bottom of this tank, and live well. Thank you.